After losing Marcus Mariota to the NFL, Oregon went looking for a quarterback and found one in Vernon Adams, who transferred as a graduate student after a stellar career at Eastern Washington. But being one of the top quarterbacks at the FCS level is a far cry from the Pac-12, and the type of teams Oregon will need to beat every week to get back into the college football playoff, and there are plenty of questions about whether Adams' skills will translate into a new system that he won't have much time to learn. Is the Pac12 South maybe too good for its own good? With USC, UCLA, Arizona State, and Arizona, the South could have as many as 4 top 25 teams to open the season, not to mention Utah, which could play its way into a national ranking behind one of college football's best defenses. Though the South is 0-4 in Pac-12 championship games since the league went to 12 teams, this may be the strongest and deepest division in all of college football. When you look at the UCLA roster, the defense is pretty much back intact, the offensive line should be much improved after some growing pains last season, and the running game is going to be more than solid, with 1,500-yard rusher Paul Perkins coming back. But it's tough to buy into UCLA without seeing what happens at quarterback, where Josh Rosen comes in as the #1 rated high school prospect in the country. Will Rosen come along in time to lead the Bruins to a Pac-12 title? Is Stanford on the decline or merely reloading? After becoming one of the Pac-12's heavyweights under Jim Harbaugh and David Shaw, the Cardinal hit a speed bump last season, going 8-5. Now the roster looks to be in a bit of transition, with just 4 starters back on defense. The good news is, 4-year starting quarterback Kevin Hogan, who struggled early last year, played better toward the end and should head into 2015 with some momentum. If he fulfills the potential he showed as a freshman and sophomore, Stanford could be back in the mix in the North Division. The big knock on Steve Sarkisian's teams at Washington is that they were constantly up and down. That trend followed him to Southern Cal last season, but because the Trojans bring back a Heisman Trophy candidate at quarterback in Cody Kessler and have mostly recovered from NCAA sanctions that limited their scholarship depth, the question is whether Sarkisian's team will bring it every week and be consistent enough to win a conference title.